bam, bing, bop, all that things. We're in. Welcome to Keep It Moving Group Coaching. If you are a guest here today, welcome to our space. This is all about the power of the collective wisdom, sharing, being vulnerable, but also talking about high-level strategies that will drive your business forward. So thanks for being here. I'm going to have somebody, as always, bring us out on the field. And this person sets the tone, sets the sentiment, and gives us some words of encouragement as we begin our day. And so that person randomly is going to be Ophelia. Yes, Ophelia, it is you. I'm going to have you. She said, God damn it, Elias. I'm going to have you bring us out the face and everything. She's like, this son of, I knew it if I was going to put my camera on. I'm going to turn it over to you. And I'm going to have you bring us out on the field on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning. Hit them.
Good morning. The one thing I was on PG&E right now trying to pay my bill. Completely, I thought I had you on audio. So I was like, anywho. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's midweek. Happy hump day. I think that today's message or sentiment, it really is, I've been on this just reflecting and sitting in space in emotions, and whatever you're feeling today, just pause and feel it. And honestly, don't make a decision off of it. Just let it happen. I have a client who's super disappointed. He felt very betrayed by a seller. And he's like, I honestly don't want to continue. And I said, yeah, you feel betrayed, but that doesn't mean you have to make a decision. That just means sit on it, think about it if you need to. Go on your day and let's recoup tomorrow. So, message for today, however you're feeling, sit on it, eat, drink, be merry, or eat, drink, and be peaceful outside and deal with it. Whatever that is, that kind of pause you later. No need for action about that.
Absolutely love this, because I think sometimes we allow the emotions to force us to act hastily. And then when we look back at it, we've all done that before, in the moment, in the emotion, in the thick of things. We said something, did something, had a behavior that when we reflected later on, like, why did I even do that? Why did I even do that? We've all had those disagreements with our significants. We've all had a friend that pissed us off. We've all had a situation where maybe you popped off or you handled it because of the emotion. But when you think and sit and let it, marinate and just do some true reflection, you might respond to it a little bit differently. So that's a really good message for this morning. Appreciate you. Thanks for being on, and thanks for always being one of our biggest contributors in coaching. So I appreciate you. All right, guys, I want to do a quick update. On Monday, I shared a story with everybody. And who can remember the story of the gentleman that I shared? Do you guys remember his name? Go ahead, Nicole. All right, cool. We're going to move on, Nicole.
I remembered him. Was his name John?
No, it was Jerry. And if Jerry can do it, you can do it. So I told you on Monday that Jerry had on Friday gone through a tumor removal on his brain that was pushing on the back part of his eyes. And by doing the surgery, he could potentially go blind, but it had to be done. And so I am grateful to say, I am happy to say, I'm elated to say that he came out of the surgery. He has his vision. He did his first exercise 2 days ago, and it was actually his birthday 3 days after his surgery. And so when you think about all the things that he has grateful for, his waking up in his house and the kids and, having the balloons and the cake, just the small things. I'll tell you what, Jerry is beyond happy right now, and he never stopped. And the reason why I share this with you guys is that he never stopped. No matter what the market was doing, conditions, however he felt, he took action no matter what. And a lot of us, unfortunately, will do things based on how we feel. Oh, I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like making prospecting calls. No, I don't feel like getting on camera. What? We do things despite how we feel, and that's what delineates successful people from unsuccessful people. You're not going to feel like it all the time. You're not going to feel good about locking yourself in a room for 2 hours and making calls. You might not look like the way you look that day. I don't fucking care how much salt you had yesterday and you're bloated and your face is swollen. You got a message that you need to put out. It's not about your mood. So if Jerry can do it, then each of us can do that. And you know what? He's going to be back to work in an instant. I know him just how he is. And so you guys, I just want to say thank you for all your positive energy, your positive vibes, and your messages of encouragement for Jerry. Before we go any further, before we start talking about the market, does anybody have any sentiment or anything that they want to share on that thread and in that vein? Anybody have anything? All right, cool. Glenn, let's go to you, big dog. Thanks for chiming in. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, so that kind of goes along with last week I started a commitment to myself that 25 calls to my SOI a week. Just get on the phone. I do have a script if I need it, but just get on the call. Just get on the phone and make those calls. And the one thing that really caught me off guard was how many people were like, is this a butt dial? To what do I owe this pleasure? I had one woman I reached out to. She'd been in and out of the hospital the last couple of weeks, and she said, "This is the best day I've had in a long time, and thanks for making the call because you really brighten my day." So the things that are tough for us, just by doing it, sometimes you have no idea the impact, the positive impact that you can have on someone's day, week, or even their life.
Yeah, God, I appreciate that. And in turn, like you're doing that for others, reaching out, touching base with them, saying hello, seeing how life and everything in between is. And then you have this amazing communication and this dialogue that fills your own cup, but you weren't even trying to fill your cup. And then you get off the phone, you're like, damn, that felt really, really good. I'm so glad that I made that call. So really good stuff, Glenn. Let's go over to Blessing, thoughts, contributions on that thread, on that vein, and then we'll start to shift gears if nobody else has a contribution on that.
Yeah, one of the things that as soon as you were talking about, your feelings will get in the way, for everyone who is still reading or has read or finished, whatever, Limitless, the confrontation of your limiting beliefs is something that from that point, like it forces you to think about your purpose and what exactly are you doing? And a number of conversations that I've had with like my friends, those that are realtors, those in life, everyone really, like, the consensus is that when you have that overwhelming fear, that like paralyzing fear, the moment you start to just push through it, it's like it's a surge of energy, it's a surge of confidence, it's a surge of confirmation that whatever you're doing, whatever that fear was just in the way of the blessing that was right there, no pun intended. But if you let that fear stop you, then all you're doing is agreeing that that fear is right. And I don't think there's anyone on here that wants the mediocre life, that wants to play small, that truly believes that they can't have a meaningful life. It's literally those fears, going into a spiritual, like it's the fear that's stopping you from really stepping into your power and your purpose. And so anytime you have that fear or that, oh, I don't want to do it, take a real big deep breath and smile, because you're on the right path. It's just confirmation that you're moving in the right direction. And there's, just like Glenn said, that phone call made someone else's day. You don't know who's waiting on you to take action. So just take the action. You're always going to be better for it.
God, I absolutely love that, Blessing. I wrote here, contrast and compare. Let's just take Jerry's situation. No matter what, he has faced his fears and he has worked through any of the doubt. And let's compare the fear. His fear, and despite what fear it was, he moved forward and took action. His fear was, if I'm being real with everybody, his fear was death. Fucking death. Okay? Some people have a fear of rejection, and it stops them from moving forward. I just want to contrast and compare for a moment. He had a fear of death and still moved forward and took action. A lot of people, and if it lands for anybody on this call, then so be it, have a fear of rejection or how people are going to view them or what they're going to look like, and it stops them from taking action in their life and business. If that doesn't reshape the way that you're thinking about it, then it doesn't land. But my hope is that lands. Blessing, I appreciate your contribution. Let's go, Christine, and then we'll go deep Bledsoe. Then we're going to get right into this. Got a bunch of stuff to share with you guys today.
Hey guys, I wanted to add, you guys may have heard this.
I had a quick question. Were you in Canada?
Yes, I just got back last night. Yeah, I was in Canada for about like 2.5 days. Visiting Brittany. She had moved back there. So it was a cool, quick trip. But got in last night, went to bed probably like before midnight, and went to the gym this morning. And I always tell myself, like, you'll never regret a workout. You'll never regret a workout. And that phrase can go into business. You're never going to regret a follow-up. You're not going to regret the phone call, the text message. Doing whatever was like so annoying and uncomfortable, you're not going to regret it, because what's the worst that can happen? Well, of course, yes, you work out and maybe if you unfortunately get hurt, but you walk out of there and it's like this high. I got up this morning, it was 4:30, went and worked out, 5:30 class. And now I'm like, all right, like I'm on it. I have some follow-ups I need to do, go through the pipeline, things like that. So just always tell yourself that, kind of like what Blessing said, like once you do that really uncomfortable thing, afterwards it feels good. And then you'll probably tell yourself like, that wasn't so bad as I tried to tell myself it was.
I love it. I love it. And welcome back. I'm sure Canada this time of year is beautiful. Look like you guys had a lot of fun per usual. I didn't know Brittany moved back to, she's originally from Canada?
Yes, originally from there. And then we got a bunch of content done. So that was cool too.
I saw some of it. Looks really good. So good stuff. Great contribution. Let's go deep Bledsoe, and then we're going to shift gears in the conversation.
Just wanted to tap in real quick off of Blessing's point. I read somewhere a while back that if you take fear and money out of a situation, what would you do? And that's a great reminder. If you remove fear and money from whatever the equation is, then you're left with what you would want to do and what you would do. And again, Blessing just reminded me of that, because again, once you remove those two things out of a situation, then you're more or less left with whatever it is that you would want to do. Otherwise, the presence of those things. So just wanted to share that, and also need the link so I can order that t-shirt.
Okay, I appreciate that for sure. Wow, I've never heard this before, and you always come with, very insightful thought. Fear and money, if you remove that, what would you actually do? That's really, really good stuff. So great. I'm not sure where that came from, but I'm definitely going to use that moving forward. Really, really good stuff. So you guys, let's get right into the market. And before we get into the market conversation, I want you guys to kind of prep what you're going to say, get your hand up. I'm going to put some people in the hot seat just to see what you're saying to consumers. But I want to say this before we even get into the market. If right now you're on this call, or you're somebody that watches the replay, and you're an active realtor, meaning that you have a license, you pay your dues, and you are part of an association of realtors, and you are on a team or at a brokerage. Over the course of the last 60 days, if you cannot at any place in a composition book, on a whiteboard, in your CRM, in a tracking system, look at how many calls that you've actually made to consumers, outreach, how many videos that you've dropped on social media. That's an easy one because you can just look on social media. How many emails that you've sent to your database. And then most importantly, these two metrics. How many appointments set have I created and how many appointments met, right? And if I can't look at that and track any of that data, and if I have zeros upon zeros upon zeros upon zeros, then what are you doing? What are you doing in real estate? Like, why do you have your license that is designed for you to help people with the biggest purchase of their life, and then you're sitting on it and not taking any action? I want you guys to evaluate. And if that is you on this call, then so be it. Let that land, let that sink in. And my hope is that implores you, pushes you, and encourages you to step up and take action in your life and business, because I know personally what this business can do for your family, for the people that you love, and for your own lifestyle. So you have some choices to make right now, but evaluate over the last 60 days, calls, videos, emails, appointments set, appointment met. And if you have good numbers, congratulations. If you have zero numbers, then you need to get your ass to work. That's all I have to say about that, you guys. Let's go right into this. I've been hearing all kinds of different things. I read, I listen. There was an article that was published yesterday, and there was a video that came out yesterday. It said that year over year, we're 5%. We have a 5% decline in sales nationwide. Now, obviously, some markets are affected and impacted more than San Francisco Bay Area, as well as Northern California in general. So some of these numbers might be a little skewed. However, if you look at any of the publications that are going on right now, and this is what consumers are going to see, there's a Redfin blog right now. I'll share this with you. I'll put this in the chat so you guys can have this, use this, share that with your consumers, break this down, digest it, dissect it any way that you want. But first and foremost, I would definitely, if you're not getting the Redfin blog alerts, if you're not a part of this, make sure that you are a part of this. It's now a good time to buy. And what you'll find in here is you'll have different reasons and different, you know, I guess, excuses for people, but there's also still a high motivation for people to buy. What we've seen is we've seen a decline. However, there is inventory out there for our consumers. So I don't think it's an inventory problem. I want to hear from you.
Elias.
Video in here that I want you guys to check out. And I want to ask you, yo.
Yeah, you're cutting out real bad right there at the end.
Blessing, I'm going to turn the mic over to you. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so the question that he was asking, and he did drop the article in there, is that
I'm going to make you the host for 1 second and I'll be right back.
sure. With this article saying that is now a good time to buy and that it's an inventory issue, if we take a look at our markets, what exactly are we seeing? Are we seeing that inventory is still tight? Are we seeing that it's competitive? Let's have a couple of people throw their hands up and give their take on what's happening in their markets. Okay, Antu, go ahead.
Morning, guys. I think the Stockton and South Bay market with their inventory, it is really low, especially if you have a buyer that is really particular in where exactly they want to live, like it's almost next to nothing. So I think that article is pretty on track about that. And yeah, that's what I got for South Bay and Stockton.
In Stockton, are you seeing particular neighborhoods that are obviously more desirable? Like, is it, where are you
So
seeing?
the desirable neighborhoods in Stockton, of course, Brookside and then Spanos Park. And there are really low inventory in both of those areas. Even when with this month and last month, there are more inventory, but still, it's just lacking. There's barely like a couple that goes up every so week, you know? So yeah, it's really, really low.
Okay, thanks, Antu. Pat, let's go over to you. What are you seeing?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, so I just submitted an all-cash offer yesterday to a house in Woodlawn Woodland Park in San Francisco. It's a pretty sought-out neighborhood, and you know, we felt very confident with our offer regarding the price. You know, especially it's all cash. I put 3 days close of escrow. However, the agent got back to me and said they got 27 offers in one house. So that means that single family homes are pretty hot right now where in the neighborhoods that are sought out in San Francisco. So you know, just wanted to drop that quick update because I was pretty mind blown. I was like, whoa.
27 offers in Woodlawn. So are there, when you look at that area, are there any ones that are like any other neighborhoods right around that kind of have that same kind of traction, or what else are you seeing?
You know, in that particular area, that neighborhood specifically, it's you know, it's the average price point is like 1.78 up, right? And so the neighborhood out there is pretty exclusive in the sense that the community is pretty tight knit. And so, you know, that particular block is pretty fast when it comes to turnover rate, but the surrounding area is near Mission. So, you know, Mission area, it's that one's actually popping with condominiums. You know, it's becoming more popular now, especially with San Francisco news that office workers are coming back. So people are, you know, they're now investors especially are seeing that as an opportunity. So, you know, surrounding areas we're seeing a better turnover rate here, but definitely single family homes in those nice areas like Woodland Park, Pack Heights, right, Ocean. They're definitely going to go in less than 2 weeks.
Let me chime in really quick. Blessing, thank you. And cut me off if it's not stable. I don't know what happens here in River Islands, but it's a known issue. So, Patrick, for the house that had 27 offers on it, were you showing properties in that area? Did you write an offer on that property? Sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah, no, we actually submitted an all cash offer for that property. But There's 3 other that's listed right now that's about the same listed price at 2 mil. But they like that one instead, and off the overdue date was yesterday. And so we pulled the trigger on that. Actually a really good story because, you know, they were going at 1.9. And I told them, you know, this is how I got them to go up to 2.2. I told them, hey guys, I'm willing to take a cut. You know, I usually typically ask for 3%, but let's just do 2% on my part. The seller's gonna save 80K on their end. I only ask you guys go up at your budget too, because I want to see you guys get this property for yourself. I mean, you guys loved it. And boom, right up a 2.2 offer all cash. And so I'm crossing my fingers, praying hopefully we get it.
I absolutely love this, and Blessing, feel free if you have any additional contributions on this. So Patrick, let's take it back to that original property, 27 offers. Knowing that it's such a competitive area, like looking forward, what's something that you can do and incorporate in your flow that you might not be doing now to find more opportunities for these buyers?
It's a good question. I think this experience taught me that there's no such thing as being too proactive. You know, I could have done more with talking to the agent, kind of getting to the disclosure count, seeing how, you know, the competition really is, instead of saying, hey, how many disclosures did you get at? Like, I really, you know, you need, as much as you touch your clients, you should touch the selling agent as well, or the buying agent, whichever, right? Just because you want to build rapport with them as well. And so I think just this experience itself, one, taught me don't be too overconfident, right? And two, just, you know, there's always things to prepare for. Like, you know, I mean, more studies, do homework and do homework.
Yeah, and Patrick, here's the thing too. I think that when you have a high profile buyer that is in that price range, I think that it's important to say, okay, I can't find anything. I'm super challenged with the inventory. That's when you do an exclusive farm for that client. Be like, hey, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to create a moving on up campaign. What is that campaign? On the front part of your flyer, and it's a large jumbo-sized postcard. It says moving on up ... Not quite. Down below. Hey neighbors, I have a client that is approved up to X amount. They're looking for a home in this area. Obviously, it's a beautiful neighborhood, not much inventory. Would you be interested if I can make this a seamless transition to sell your house to this, whatever that verbiage is? But I think that doing a grassroots campaign of doing an exclusive farm for that consumer, but then also knocking on those neighbors' doors and finding those opportunities. And I heard this the other day on a mastermind, and she's having tremendous success by taking a client that is up against the wall in inventory, doing a farm, really quick farm for that person, and then trying to find those results or opportunities, and she's finding really good results. So might have to spend a little bit of money, but I think that would be worth it.
Thank you for that. That's a really good nugget. Thank you.
Blessing, who was next? Do we have any? All right, we got a bunch of hands up, so let's continue going. Blessing, I'm not sure where you left it off with the question, so I'm just going to fill in, and I'm going to go D. Bledsoe, and then we'll go Oliver, and then we'll go Kyrell, and then we'll go Heather, and then I do have some other things I want to share with you guys, but we're doing good. Let's go, D.
Yeah, just wanted to chime in on the city. I have 2 different buyer clients, one looking for condos, one looking for condos and single families. So I appreciate the game of the farm because inventory is really tight. One client can go up to 1.15 and needs a 2-bedroom near Mission Bay, and it's been next to impossible to find them something. We put in an offer last week. We were the lowest out of 8 offers at 1.1 on a 2-bedroom condo. And then the one looking for single families, they're not really that particular about neighborhood. And so we've identified a few that we were close on, but we put in an offer last week and we were, I think, the 8th lowest. So the city is back up, that to say, and inventory is really tight over there. So on the listing side, though, a lot of people removed their condos from the market last year when they weren't selling as quickly or selling at all. So it might be a good time to reinvigorate those conversations about listing in the city because, yeah, there's buyers out everywhere and not enough places for them.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I love this. Let's go to Oliver, and then we'll go to Kyrell. Oliver, what's your contribution? Great stuff, D. Bledsoe. Great stuff, Patrick. Let's go, Oliver.
Hey, what's up, team? So yeah, for me, on my listing in Katati up here, I put it on the market on Thursday, and by Tuesday we were already in escrow. Got two offers, all cash, $20,000 over listing price, which is great for Katati because Katati, there's not a lot of inventory. I want to say there was like probably like 4 or 5 houses that sold in January in Katati, so. Yeah, the market over here, there's not much. So people are, trying to go over here, buying here and going over listing price.
So Oliver, let me ask you a migration question. Who moves to Katati and where do they typically come from? Are they coming from San Francisco? Are they coming from East Bay? Where do they come from?
Well, actually, no, I would say from around here. Like, so the buyer that's buying the house is moving from Sonoma over here, downsizing, and is just trying to get more of a community feel. The great thing location wise, it's downtown, close to downtown Katati, like a 2-minute drive. So that's perfect for her. So she's getting a little bit older. So it worked perfectly for her. But what I've been seeing is just people from around Sonoma County.
Nice. Okay, cool. I got off on Railroad the other day and drove out to the coast, went up to Sea Ranch, and I'm like, if there's a place that I would live again, it's Sonoma County. It's absolutely gorgeous there. Great stuff, Oliver. We're going to move to Kyrell. Kyrell, what's your thoughts, contributions on the conversation thus far?
So I've been focusing mainly on Berkeley and Alameda specifically, and I'm noticing that it's super competitive right now. I have a couple clients who are actually looking for a property within them two cities, and they want to stay around 1 to 1.1 million, but I noticed that everything's selling for 30 to 40% over asking. And yeah, I mean, it's just been super competitive lately. So there's not a lot of inventory right now, especially in that price range. Usually everything that I've been coming across is basically a lot of fixer-uppers, but a lot of homes that have foundational issues and things like that that are actually going to cost $100,000 to $200,000 just in, some repairs. So I've just been noticing that it's just been super competitive lately in them areas.
And so good stuff. And what I want to encourage you to do, and everyone else that speaks and hears the messaging, like, get creative with it. Look at your social media right now and say, how does my social media attract those types of sellers for the communities that my buyers are having a challenge? And also, what type of grassroots campaign can I do, such as moving on up, well, not quite, knocking on the doors, because you already have. So a lot of people go out with this script. Oh, I have a buyer that would love to live in this community, but they don't have anybody. Oh, I'd love to look at the house, and they're just trying to get the listing appointment. And then they get called out on their bluff because they don't actually have a buyer. You have a buyer. So you have something that they want if they would potentially want to sell. And listen, people might not know what they're sitting on until you show up. And so really good stuff, Kyrell. I would definitely encourage you to grab a partner, pull a list from title, and either mail those people, mail them, and then knock the doors, right? Like, hey guys, I sent you a flyer last week. I want to make sure that you got it. Now I'm following up on that to seeing if you did have any interest of putting your house on the market, knowing I can make this a seamless transition for you and for your family. All right. So there's some opportunities, but good update. I love this. Great job, my man. Let's go to Heather. Heather, what's your thoughts and contributions on the conversation? You're muted.
Oh.
There we go.
I was going to contribute. I have ran into some instances where with the low inventory, not being able to find something for my clients. So I will go and check expired listings as well. Just see if anything's changed. I mean, obviously at one point they wanted to sell. So I will get a listing of expired listings that, send it to my clients, see if they like any, and just reached out to them and, about possibly listing again or what had happened or, just because I typically will target expireds anyway, and what better way to get a hold of somebody if you have a buyer for them already.
Totally. Absolutely. I love that approach. And for the people that don't know, what markets do you generally serve?
For this area?
No, for you, what markets do you generally serve?
Oh, it's just your 3-2. You're talking about when I'm doing like my marketing for my farming or just?
So what market do you serve, meaning geographical area?
Oh, my market, Modesto, Ceres, just Stanislaus County in general. A lot of work in Modesto. Salida, Ripon, Oakdale, Escalon. So yeah, Central Valley. I try to, obviously, if I don't have buyers and I'm, not looking in a price range, obviously I'm going to look at people that are more like in the higher end neighborhoods and stuff like that. But I surf the Central Valley. So
Awesome. I appreciate the contribution. Who else has anything that they want to share? Market conditions, stats, updates. Who wants to share with us what they're experiencing, what they are saying to consumers? Anybody else have a contribution? Let's go, Otis. I knew you'd raise your hand on this. Let's go, hot seat, Otis. What do you got for us?
I kind of wanted to touch base with Kyrell because if you look over the weather report, I don't know how many times you guys look it out. It comes, I think, usually the 16th of every month, but it gives you a good insight of your markets. You should be looking for, I call them landing spots. So obviously they want to be in Berkeley, but Albany is up plus 150 right now for homes on being sold. Other places too, like people looking for Fremont is down 48%, so you can get a good deal there. But then also Union City's up 171%. So looking for landing spots, just so you can make sure that you can tell your clients like, hey, Elias, I know you're looking for here, but maybe there's a better deal for you here, maybe 5-10 minutes out of your way. Are you willing to, push the envelope a little bit like that? Alameda is not so bad. It's like 20,000 over from the median price of 1.1. So you might still be able to find something there if you go a door knock. That's what I tell them. I look at the places to see what we can do, see what's currently on market for extended, 30 to 45 days. Because me being a great negotiator, I know I can come to say, hey, Elias, like, there's great deals out here. Don't worry about the interest rates. Worry about what you want to pay a month. And we'll go over that a couple of times with your lender, just in case we do get into a bidding war where we can see how far we can stretch the envelope on how you can go up, where you think it's going to be a lot of money, but it's not going to reflect your payment that much. But I think the best thing is we're still in that area, that gray area, where we can still maybe get your closing costs paid in full, or we can get you some nice amount of credits to work with to buy down your rate as well. So those are the conversations I'm having until the market kind of flips. And I serve all the way up from down to Alameda, Hayward, Contra Costa, trying to get back into the city, but definitely all the way up 80, all the way back up here to Fairfield. So I'm all over the place. I go where the money's at, but you got to kind of keep an eye on everywhere, because being on the Zillow team, you can't just specialize in one area. If I was out here in Fairfield and I get a, call for Oakland. So that's the beautiful thing about serving multiple markets, but it's kind of a headache too, because you got to know your numbers for all of them. But it's just all about being smarter and taking, putting the notes down and having the numbers, because that's what the consumers really care about, saving deals and numbers.
Yeah, and I appreciate this sentiment. You guys, back in the days, let's say 2000 and before 2020, before pandemic, let's say before pandemic, we were area specialists, right? Like, oh, I understand Walnut Creek, I understand Concord, I understand Pleasant Hill. Well, then that all changed during pandemic because the consumers moved and they migrated to all these different cities. So it forced us as agents to really look at our expertise as a whole Bay Area expertise, and knowing that we're in a microclimate. When we go up to Sacramento, that is a completely different market. But during pandemic, 35 to 45% of the people that were leaving San Francisco were going to Sacramento. So understanding the markets and where people are going and migration reports and all those things, I think it's really, really smart. And you also have to ask yourself, how can I create these opportunities? And I'll go to Vernon for a second, because Otis, you talked about Alameda. Well, Vernon just went through a really, really challenging deal that was significantly over asking price. Now, if you can find those off-market opportunities, that means that you're not going to have as much competition. You're going to be dealing with that person. They're not going to have to show their house to multiple people and open houses and stage and all those things. You want to make that a seamless transition. For a lot of people, sellers don't want to go through all that. They just don't want to go through all that. They would rather just hunker down and live in their house. But if you can bring them a buyer that is qualified to give them what they want, true market value right now, make that a seamless transition for them, a lot of people might want that opportunity. So finding off-market opportunities are only going to come from you knocking and you doing the moving on up or whatever other type of marketing that you want to do, because you have what the consumer needs and wants if they're considering leaving. Vernon, let's talk a little bit about your experience recently. I know he had dropped in information about Alameda, but you've been in the thick of things recently. So what are you experiencing? And maybe it is just Alameda or other markets, but what are you experiencing specifically?
Alameda's market is on fire. period. The end. There's you know double-digit offers being submitted on properties, particularly in the East End, but all over the island in its entirety. I legit had to come in about $300,000-400,000 over list price to secure the property that I've secured for my buyer after unsuccessfully submitting a couple of offers and coming in $250,000, $300,000 over list price, where one property had 18 offers, you guys, and the other had 11 offers, and the winning bid was $600K over list price. That's what's really happening in Alameda right now. So to Elias's point, if you can, if you know that that market is on fire and you've got some comfortable Air Max tennis shoes to where you can legitimately prospect that island, there are some hidden gem deals out there, knowing that market is super in high demand. I'm talking January, you guys, like raining, when generally when the season is supposed to be a slower season, with the interest rate doing what it's doing, Alameda is on fire. So if you find an off-market deal there, you are absolutely going to unequivocally win in that market, just as a payoff to your hustle.
Yeah, and Vernon, I really appreciate the sentiment. What I would do is I would sit down with your title representative and I would find those areas where you're having a struggle with your consumers finding a house, right? Maybe it's competition, maybe it's low inventory, whatever it is. And I would sit there and have a brainstorm session with your title representative and be like, okay, let's pull this. Let's pull people that have been in their houses for 30 years or more, that have positive equity, that are 2 stories. We know they're elderly. For example, my mother-in-law is 75. If she had a 2-story house, she has a bum knee. She couldn't even get upstairs. So all these things that might factor in to you specifically mailing or knocking on those people's doors. So be very targeted with that. But I would have a brainstorm session with your title representative right now and come up with your hit list and go out there, like Vernon said, hit the streets and do a mailer. I promise you, if you do that consistently, you're going to find results. Otis, let's go back to you, and then I'm going to share a couple things with you.
I'm glad you said that. I kind of want to shout out my girl Alicia from Chicago Title. She gave me and Jacob a great list. I think we had about a good 65 out of the 65. I believe there was 39 of the original owners from the first subdivision in 2004. So a lot of those houses are paid off. A lot of those houses have a huge amount of equity. So me and Jacob been tearing it up over there all through Intensity. I think out of the 4 weeks we did 2 open houses over there in Hidden Brook, and then we got a third that we're planning on doing probably this weekend if they go on, or if not next weekend. So just gems like that, and they can give you something that's small. Like out of 65, we got about 39 gems for sure, and another of them about 2014. I got a good 10-year gap, and we've already seen through the appreciation reports that we get too that those homes have seen a good amount, about $150,000 to $225,000 of equity over the 10 years. So it's a great conversation starter.
Yeah, it totally is. And you guys, I'm thinking about this from like, think about at the end of the year as well, or the end of the school year. You know, when people put those signs in their yard, like, oh, my kid, we did one for Larissa, graduated 2000 and whatever, right? I want you guys to take note of those things when you're driving around, when you see that, when you see it on Facebook. And those are the type of conversations you're going to want to have. Hey, I'm a local realtor. I saw that your daughter graduated or your son graduated from, I'm calling because a lot of times that means that in the next couple of years, you guys are going to be thinking about downsizing. I'm not too sure if that, relates to you, but I'm calling the neighborhood to ask. Well, shit. Well, no. Well, maybe we are, or maybe they're going to, I don't know, but shit, they're giving you an open door to call them. It's just like somebody just got engaged. Wonderful. What are your guys' plans? Whose house are you selling? Are you guys living together? You guys, what's that look like? Right. So it's like you look for these opportunities to be able to go in and be like, I got an in, but you have to be, resourceful, and you have to be creative in your approach and do things that might not seem the norm. And so really good contributions. I had another hand up. Let's go, Ashley. I'm glad that you raised your hand. Ashley, what is your contribution?
So everything Otis was talking about was reminding me when I moved into my area, and Vernon was talking about it too. When I moved into where I live now, someone said, "Oh, this is the person everyone uses as their real estate agent." It was Tracy Nelson, and I was like, everyone uses her. Yeah, oh yeah, everybody uses her. Like the person I was talking to had never met Tracy Nelson, but Tracy Nelson's name was just there for them. And I started digging in, oh, well, why is that? Well, she's community oriented. She's throwing community events. She's like the go-to person. The Money Store will partner with you if you want to throw a community event and be that go-to person. But I think that's the name of the game is like we could do, obviously, don't stop knocking on doors and making cold calls, but that's one after one after one. Social media, you hit the masses, and community events, you hit the masses. So you want to be that known name that attracts people to you so you don't have to work as hard.
100%, 100%. And you guys are a great testament of these videos that's going on. Like, hey, what do you love about Ripon? What do you love about Brentwood? That's like you out in the community, at the farmer's market, at the street fair. Every single one of you can do that. I don't care where you're at on this call. You all have the ability to do so. I also would get really in tune with what's going on in your local cities. We've done this before, but it's important to do it again. If you go to the Bay East Association of Realtors, this is free for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are. And if you are outside of our market, then pull this in your market. But if I wanted to see what's going on in, let's just take Concord. Concord's a central place. What I'm going to see is I'm going to see all the information about Concord, but then most importantly, I can go right to the city website. What I could do is I could look at like what's happening, who's filed for permits and business license, what's going on recreational, who's moving there, what are the city events, who's talking, what's going on, and be a part of the know in that community and say, how can I attend these things and not try to go in there just to get business, but to go in there and absolutely give a contribution and be somebody of value? Because it says here, Concord launches ADU rebate program. Well, what is that? What is that? And imagine if you made that video today. Otis says, hey guys, if you're living in Concord, this is an opportunity for you if you own property in Concord. There's an ADU rebate program that just launched, $15,000 property owners who apply to build an accessory dwelling unit, AKA ADU, on their property. If you want more information about that, let me know. Or if you're considering putting your house on the market, let me know. I don't care what it is, like go into the city websites to find out what's happening, what's new, what are the new regulations, laws, things like that are being eliminated, and get yourself in the mix and get out there and say hello to everybody. I think just yesterday, Ophelia was telling me that she joined the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And I don't know, Ophelia, if you said that you were on the board or if you were just a member, but things like that are going to get you more exposure to people that are thinking about buying and selling real estate. Make sense, everybody? Make dollars, everybody? Good, good. I'm going to go to this really quick, and I want to share a couple things with you guys. I pulled this up, and I dropped the article in, or the link down below. And this is your research and statistics from the National Association of Realtors. Now, this is applicable to everybody that's on the call. You have access to the research and statistics page from the National Association of Realtors. I dropped that in the chat before. Let me know if it's not there. Glenn, can you see my screen? Give me a thumbs up. All right, perfect. What you'll see here is you'll see this here, and I talked a little bit about this 4.9%, let's say it's 5% year over year that we've seen a decline in sales. So this means that we have to get more creative and find ways to find opportunities for our buyers. But there's one thing on here that I thought that was cool that I don't see enough people talking about, but I know that there is an opportunity here, and it's migration trends. If you've sat in any seminars, if you've gone to any events, you hear people talking about migration reports. And what happens is that when you look at where people are moving to, and if you look at this whole report, you guys can dive deep into the data. What I want you to do is I want to encourage you to look at where are people going. And if you look at this, not that many people are coming to California. So many people are leaving California. But here's the point. If I just take my top 5 places, Florida, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, these are the places that people are moving to. So what I would do is I would do a little research and see who are some of the top agents in Florida right now. And what I would do is I would do some cross-pollination. I would form an alliance with those people. I would call them, be like, hey, I'm in California. I know that the migration reports are stating that so many people, who's your go-to person in California? How are you making those relationships? And I would love to be able to partner with you. hop on video with you, share with you what's going on. That way, when consumers are thinking about leaving California, they are still thinking about you because you're that liaison to help them, because you're a part of this amazing company called EXP that has relationships coast to coast. So when we're thinking about our sales, we're obviously thinking locally, but what type of messaging is on your social that says that I can help somebody no matter where they want to move in the world? And looking at this, I would start forming some relationships with people that live in Florida, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, as well as Georgia and as far as Tennessee. But I wanted to share this with you because I don't see enough of the migration reports talked about on social media. And I've been to some huge events, and this is how a lot of people are building their business. And think about it. You form the relationship, you do the handoff. What do you get to do? You get to sit back and collect a check. And all you were was that person that did that warm handoff. Build those relationships, go on social media, go live, talk about each of your markets and be like, I'm the go-to person. If you're thinking about moving out of the area, I'm your go-to person. I can link you up with professionals every single state in the United States of America. I'm the go-to person here locally as well as nationally. Looking forward to serving you and your family if you are considering a move. That's fucking valuable to people, right? I'm not just a California realtor. Through EXP, I'm coast to coast and I'm also international. So I wanted to just put that on your radar, put those thoughts out there and allow you to think larger and think bigger than what we do just here in the Bay Area, Sacramento, Central Valley, and wherever else you are. Make sense, everybody? Migration reports will serve your business. And if that means that you got 5 referrals throughout the year that paid you a 25% commission, then shit. Good for you, because you weren't out showing, you weren't out in the heat, you weren't driving, all the things, negotiating. All you did is you were that conduit. So let's pause. Let's go here. Let's go a couple key takeaways from our session today. I'm gonna go to Princess. I'm gonna go to Chicken Mom. I'm gonna go to Antu. Princess, couple key thoughts and takeaways and one key action that you were going to do today from what you heard on coaching.
I like that report. I mean, the migration, because I know a lot of people are still moving from SAC. So being able to know that I have connects or I have a network of people that I can connect people to, just knowing that I can still service people, even though it may not be within this market, it can definitely be somewhere else, and just having that referral fee. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's incredible. I didn't realize so many people are moving to Florida. I get it, especially people that are older that want the weather. It's superhuman. I probably would. I think I would enjoy living there. I think I would enjoy living there. It's a cool place. But I was those numbers were staggering, and I didn't know so many people were moving to the Carolinas. But I get it because it's absolutely beautiful there. So let's go on 2, and then we'll go Chicken Mom.
Well, take advantage of the MLS info because I think I always forget to look at those for numbers. And so I really am gonna do that and start looking at that again. And I think the migration report, it's a really great and great part that literally we never think about, Elias. So that was really nice that you mentioned that. Because I do have someone in Miami that I can work with, Priscilla, who we all met at Intensity. And so, yeah, I think those reports are so important and good, and that we sometimes forget to use it and we look elsewhere, like, Inman or Realtor.com or whatever. So thanks for reminding us that.
I love that. You have Priscilla, she runs a small boutique brokerage in Miami, super spicy Cuban accent. She like epitomizes that part of Florida. And like, how cool is that? You already have that bond and connection. Get on a call, do a live. Like, hey, why are people moving there? They're coming from California. So listen, if you ever are that person that's looking, we have the plug for you. We could be that conduit for all of your moving needs coast to coast. So I absolutely love that way to think big. Ashley, you put something in the chat below. You want to, it says insurance costs went through the roof in Florida. I wonder if if it's cash buyers who don't care.
Yeah, after everything that was going on with all the national disasters, the insurance just went through the roof and people couldn't sell. House prices came way down. And so I'm wondering if it's people who are retiring and wanting the sunshine and they want to take advantage of the lower house prices and they don't really care if there's high insurance because it's literally their only payment because they're going to cash out on the house.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it makes sense to make that relationship with the Floridian agent. So good stuff. Let's go Chicken Mom. Chicken Mom, really good to see you yesterday. One key takeaway, one key action for him today.
One key takeaway is definitely going to set up some meetings. I have an agent friend in Texas and I have an agent friend in Florida. So I'm definitely going to set up some meetings with them, because it kind of plays into what I worked out with title in my neighborhood, because I live in a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of movement. A lot of them are original owners, and they're all around my mom's age of like 65 to 67. So I'm gonna kind of pull all those things in together and use them, because I think a lot of people are gonna be moving out of my neighborhood, and I want to make sure that they know who the hell I am.
Love it, love it, love it. Let's go one last key takeaway. Dennis Howe, really great to see you. Dennis Howe and I go back to 2018, 2017. It's really good to see your face, my man. One key thought, one key takeaway from your time here as a guest at Keep It Moving.
Number one, you do not age. Wow. And I kind of totally forgot about the Bay East website. I need to get on there and do some clicking. See, do some clicking and see how I can help my folks.
Well, I love it, my man. And how is life and everything in between for you?
There's a reason why I'm here.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad that you're here. If you need anything, you know you've always got a brother in me. Listen, you guys, remember the story of Jerry. Remember what Damian said, that once you remove fear and money, what would you do? And if Jerry can, despite having a tumor on his brain and in daily pain, like you could just see how much pain he was in, built a very successful real estate team and company, and it was an inspiring leader and never complained about anything. What's holding you back, right? What's holding you back? And I say that from the bottom of my heart because I care about you. And if I didn't care about you, then I would have no responsibility to hold anybody accountable. It's not my responsibility to make you work and do the things that are gonna push you. That's not my fucking responsibility. I have a responsibility as a coach to listen to what you told me was important to you in your life, your dreams, and in your business. It's my responsibility to hold you accountable to those things. I didn't create those things. You did. You did. And if I'm pushing you and you're not saying, thank you, Elias, it's because this is not the real shit that you told me. So you and I are not in alignment. So let's get real with each other. If you need help, if you need additional coaching, if you need additional support, you come to me, you tell me the truth, and I'll be able to work with you and help you get past any hurdles that you're going through. But here lies truth. And I only want to operate and I only want to coach in truth. So you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for dealing with any of my technological issues. And I will promise you that these things will get fixed. If you're in the Central Valley or in surrounding areas, we have a new proprietary fast booth inside of our Stockton office. So you have the ability to go there and shoot content just like you do in our HQ in Oakland. So if you guys are in the area, come out, enjoy the new space. It's a new look, it's a new feel, it's different art. So Stockton now has a fast booth. So we're really excited to see the content that's going to come out of there. So you guys have an amazing day. As always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and crush your day. Peace.